This is KGW News at 11.
And we begin tonight with breaking news out of Washington County. Deputies are searching a wide area for a possible plane crash. They're looking west of Highway 47 near Highway 6. That's an area close to Highway 26. And we're told a credible report was made of a plane not in control. That was followed by a loud boom and a plume of black smoke. Multiple other people in the area also say that they heard an explosion. Washington County Sheriff tweeted that the Coast Guard and National Guard have been called in to help with a possible overnight search.
Well, right now, the search area it's too large, especially with the dark and the limited information we have. We know, or we believe, that this happened somewhere west of Highway 47 between Highway 26 and Highway 6. So that's a large area. We've had sightings from Helvetia all the way to Timber. So we've had a wide range of people that have reported they saw this.
Now, there's a lot that we and authorities are trying to piece together tonight. So this is clearly a developing situation. We're going to bring you the latest as it happens here on air, and you can also follow KGW.com overnight. Well, let's turn now to the pandemic and the growing impact of the Omicron surge on hospitals here in our community. Right now, many Oregonians are waiting to get care for everything else that's not COVID. Galen Etlin joins us live in studio. And Galen, a lot of people are really struggling through this.
Absolutely, Brittany. We hear it over and over again. People who need treatments or surgeries outside of COVID have been pushed to the back burner for so long now. And for some, they just cannot wait anymore.
75-year-old Joyce Atkins of Tualatin loves to be active. Tennis is her game. But in late 2019, her back started having problems.
If you get up or you turn wrong, it just sends shooting pain down my legs.
She couldn't be so active anymore. Then the pandemic hit in early 2020, so seeing a doctor was tough.
It took them a while.
After months, they determined her spine canal was narrowing, putting pressure on the nerves and causing her pain. A solution is surgery, which she scheduled in September 2021. And Kaiser had to cancel because it was overwhelmed with COVID patients and understaffing.
But, in a way, it's not an elective surgery because my life is not my life anymore.
The surgery was rescheduled for this week, but got canceled again.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm frustrated. I'm depressed, too, because this is 2 years now that I've been going through this.
This really is an all hands on deck moment.
Dave Northfield works with the Oregon Association of Hospitals and Health Systems, representing 62 community hospitals. He spoke with KGW before Christmas ahead of the Omicron surge.
Hospitals are full today.
At the end of December, 180 Oregon patients were waiting to get into the hospital for other care. But 470 were stuck in hospitals, waiting to be discharged to lower levels of care. Staffing is a problem everywhere.
The pipeline is not moving as it should be.
This Oregon Health Authority chart from this week shows most ICU and regular hospital beds are full.
How do you feel about this challenge that we're facing?
It's hard because this is preventable.
Wendy Watson is Chief Operating Officer for Kaiser Permanente Northwest. She says many people have had to delay surgeries and treatment for other conditions because of COVID, capacity, and low staffing.
This feeling that we can't deliver the care that we want to give to every single person.
Our healthcare workers have been working extraordinarily hard.
Dr. Renee Edwards, Chief Medical Officer at OHSU, says to get back on track, everyone has to step up against COVID.
We know how to control the spread of this disease.
Because the ripple impact of people not masking or getting vaccinated falls on people like Joyce.
They're impeding my health.
Again, those interviews with hospital officials were about 3 weeks ago, but the problem still stands. It's ongoing. Omicron has not led to a severe spike in Oregon hospitalizations yet, but because the system was already so bogged down, the sheer numbers of new people becoming infected and, of course, trying to get tested through all of this have added to the burden for healthcare workers. They ask if you have mild symptoms to get tested elsewhere or just quarantine at home.
Some really good perspective there. Galen Etlin reporting for us live in studio. Thanks so much, Galen. Well, new tonight, the Omicron surge isn't just hitting hospitals, it's impacting local classrooms. All schools in the Park Rose School District will be closed tomorrow. We're told the district doesn't have enough staff because they're either sick, quarantining, or they have family that are sick. The school superintendent says the district will let families know their next steps tomorrow. Students at Durham Elementary School in the Tigard-Tualatin School District will also transition to online learning this week. In a statement to KGW, the school says the move is due to the increasing impact of COVID-19 and the Omicron variant on staff and students. There are no classes scheduled for tomorrow as they transition to online learning for at least the rest of this week. The school plans to resume in-person classes on the 18th. Portland Public Schools are also closing some buildings because of COVID. In a message on the PPS website, the district announced Dockley Green will be closed tomorrow as they also prepare to transition to temporarily distance learn for the rest of the week. They say that the Omicron variant is contributing to a dramatic rise in students and staff calling out sick. Families will be told by Friday if the school plans to have remote learning for longer than just this week. And we're trying to learn more details after Vancouver police officer shot and killed a suspect overnight near Northeast 131st Avenue and 59th Street. Officers were called to the area just before 12:30 last night on reports of a person with a weapon. They say a person was armed with knives inside a home, and several people, including 2 kids, were hiding in the back. It's believed the suspect also set a small fire inside the property. When officers got there, they smelled smoke and found the suspect outside, allegedly carrying a knife. When other de-escalation techniques failed, police say they were forced to use their guns to stop them. The suspect was taken to the hospital where they later died. Police say 4 officers were involved and all are now on leave during the investigation. We're following a developing story out of New York tonight. At least 19 people are dead, including 9 children, after an apartment complex caught fire in the Bronx. Dozens of others were injured. New York fire officials say a malfunctioning space heater sparked the blaze that filled the complex with smoke and flames. Just take a look at that dramatic video. It is the city's deadliest fire in 30 years. Officials say victims were found on every floor and many died of heart attacks or respiratory arrest. And firefighters, they continue to make rescues from the 19-story building even as their air supplies ran out. Just devastating. It's been just over 4 months since the last U.S. troops left Afghanistan, forcing many to flee the country when the Taliban took over. Now, a local nonprofit is helping refugees resettle and feel at home here in Oregon. Christelle Kumwe explains.
Yeah, it's been really, really busy. It's been a big push since, the evacuations at the end of August.
Lisa Daly is with Lutheran Community Services Northwest, a nonprofit human services agency serving communities throughout Washington, Idaho, and Oregon.
One of the main areas of service that we provide out of Portland is refugee and immigrant services. So we do have a refugee resettlement program where we bring people coming into the country to resettle to their new home in Oregon.
In the last few months, the agency has welcomed about 140 people from Afghanistan with a goal to help 185 people by February.
The Oregon Department of Human Services is providing emergency housing for most of the Afghan refugees that are coming in.
In a one-day special session in December, the state legislature approved an $18 million package to support Afghan refugees with housing, education, legal aid, and other services.
We're really grateful to have that partnership to be able to provide temporary housing for the first 90 days or so of people arriving here to get them settled and then to continue services. But housing is really the number one resource that's needed for long term.
Daly says the community response to the sudden need has been overwhelming.
Oregon is a really welcoming place, and we've seen a huge outpouring from the community to support these Afghan individuals that have really lost everything and are coming here to start fresh. And, it's the right thing to do. It's a good thing to do.
Many of the Afghan refugees have settled across the Portland metro area. Lutheran Community Services Northwest is one of several area agencies helping as they expect as many as 1,200 Afghans to find safe harbor here in Oregon. I'm Christelle Kumwe for KGW News.
Lawmakers in Washington return tomorrow for a 60-day legislative session, and there's a lot to get done in that time. Bills were pre-filed this past month and were assigned to committees. Leadership can decide to amend the bill, substitute it, or present it to the House as is. Many bills won't even make it out of the session. So here are a few items that lawmakers will be looking at. There are multiple bills that involve policing and others that have to do with the state's long-term care fund that passed back in 2019. There's also at least 2 transportation bills and one that would help local government respond to extreme weather events. For a list of what lawmakers are going to take on this session, just head over to our website, KGW.com. Well, 2 school board members for Newburgh Public Schools are facing a recall effort after a semester filled with controversy. The district this year banned what they called political symbols, but specifically singled out pride flags and Black Lives Matter signs. There were enough signatures to hold a recall vote for Vice Chair Brian Shannon and board member Dave Brown. Today, there was a canvassing effort to drum up support for the recall. Some parents we checked in with say they believe the district should be more inclusive.
I moved here because I wanted my kids to have great schools where they felt safe and loved and supported. And I feel like the current school board is really divisive, and they're bringing in a lot of outside, kind of scary extremist groups into our community to push an agenda that I don't think is appropriate for the classroom.
Some of you may have already received your ballot for the recall vote. The in-person vote is set for January 18th.